friends. Welcome to another adventure with fantastic first grade frogs. Now, yesterday, Swimmy and I took you on a little adventure with some fish, and we had a really good time, didn't we, Swimmy? Yes, we did. We had fun swimming with the fish. So, today we're going to dive into the ocean and find out more about the creatures that live there. So, where do you think we should start, Swimmy? No, we are not going bicycling today. Swimmy, you don't have any feet. How can you go on a bicycle ride? Well, I suppose I could take you in a little ride on my bicycle. Okay. But if we're going in the ocean, where should we go first? That's a good idea. You always have the best ideas, Swimmy. Swimmy thinks that we should go in all the layers of the ocean and explore what's down there. So let's take a look at this book called An Ocean of Animals. The author's name is Janine Scott. And so we're going to take a swim down into the ocean and see what's down there. There's a wonderful table of contents that takes us from the top of the ocean down, 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 down into the bottom. But we're going to go ahead and read the whole book. The first heading says, Full of Life. Looking from shore, the ocean seems to hold just water, but it's bursting with animals. These animals live in different parts of the ocean, or zones. This heading says coastal zones, so we know we're going to read about the coastal zone in this part. The coastal zone is where land meets water. Coastal animals often live in and out of water. Crabs scuttle on the beach. Seabirds fly overhead. Oh, look at that crab. That is pretty nifty. And that crab would live in the coastal zone where the water and the land meet. Sunlight zone. The sunlight zone is at the top layer of the ocean. Most of the world's fish live in this zone. Small fish munch plants. Sharks eat the small fish. And we could see that shark with a mouthful of teeth. Coral reefs grow in the sunlight zone in shallow water. Millions of animals live on each reef. Sea anemones spend their lives clinging to one piece of coral. So these corals are animals that live in the reef, and they have exoskeletons. And as one dies, it leaves its exoskeleton behind, and another one will live on top of that one. And so the coral reef grows and grows as animals live on top of the exoskeletons of the ones that came before it. So it gets bigger. And the coral reef is a beautiful place to live. We learned yesterday that it has a lot of little caves and holes and hiding places for creatures to live. And we can see the sea anemone here with some little clownfish is attached right here. And remember yesterday we learned a sea anemone is actually an animal. Even though it looks kind of like a plant, it really is an animal with lots of tentacles. Mammals live in the sunlight zone too. Manatees graze on seagrass. Sea otters dive and play in seaweed. Giant blue whales swim in the open ocean. And here we can see a manatee. A manatee is a really fascinating creature that likes to munch on seagrass. They're very slow moving, but they're kind of big. They're definitely bigger than we are, not as big as a whale. And they live in the sunlight zone where they can find lots of yummy grass to eat. Twilight zone. The twilight zone starts at about 660 feet or 200 meters deep. It gets very little sunlight. The dragonfish has lights on its body to lure prey to it. Wow, that's a really cool looking fish, isn't it? Dark zone. The dark zone starts at about 3,300 feet or 1,000 meters deep. It's very dark and very cold. Tube worms cluster around thermal vents to stay warm. Wow, look at those tube worms. That's pretty fascinating, isn't it? Unknown life. More than half of Earth is covered in very deep water. Very little has been explored. Who knows what animals scientists will find in the future? And look at this very interesting deep sea exploring machine that probably is holding some equipment and some people so that they can go and visit the deep parts of the ocean. Wow, Swimmy, that was a really good book. You have great ideas. What do you want to learn about next? No, we are not going to learn how to ride a bicycle today. How about some jellyfish? No, not on toast. No, jellyfish. Yeah, let's read that book next. So here's a book called Jellyfish. The author's name is Mari Shu, and you can see on the front all of those really fascinating jellyfish. Now this is an invertebrate. It does not have bones in its body, and these live in the ocean. Life in the ocean. Jellyfish are not what they seem. Don't let their name fool you. Jellyfish are not fish at all. Remember, fish are vertebrates. They have bones, but jellyfish are invertebrates. Not a bone in their body. Jellyfish are ocean animals. They float in oceans around the world. Up close. Jellyfish are many sizes. Some are as small as a pea. Others are larger than a person. They can be 7 feet or 2 meters wide. And we can see this wonderful jellyfish here that is bigger than the diver who is right next to it. Wow, that's enormous. Bright colors cover some jellyfish. Other jellyfish are clear. Some jellyfish even glow. Wow, look at that glowing jellyfish. Can you imagine if your body could glow? Jellyfish do not have bones. They have soft bodies shaped like bells or umbrellas. They open and close their bodies to move. Finding food. Jellyfish have many tentacles. The tentacles sting prey with poison. Once stung, the prey cannot swim away. Remember, a predator is an animal that eats another animal. The prey is the animal that gets eaten. So the jellyfish would be the predator, and the little fish that it stings would be its prey. And the jellyfish is not trying to be mean to the little fish, but it needs to have something to eat. Remember, if the jellyfish does not catch any prey, it can't just drive off to the jellyfish fast food store and say, hey, I'd like a jellyfish hamburger. It can't do that. So it has to catch prey in order to live. The tentacles pull the prey into the jellyfish's mouth. Jellyfish eat fish and plankton. Wow, look at that beautiful jellyfish. Life cycle. Female jellyfish make eggs. The eggs later grow into polyps. Polyps live on the ocean floor. Wow, isn't that beautiful? Young jellyfish grow from the polyps. They break away and move on their own. In a few weeks, they become adult jellyfish. Aw. Wow, Swimmy, that was a really good book. I enjoyed that. Now how about if we learn about these sea stars that you have all around you on your table? Look at this. Sea stars. What kind of animal is that? Let's read about them in this book called Sea Stars. The author's name again is Mari Shu, and look at all those bright, beautiful sea stars on the front cover of this book. Wow. Life in the ocean. Sea stars crawl on the ocean floor. These colorful animals look for food to eat. Sea stars live in oceans around the world. There are about 1,500 kinds of sea stars. They are found in both shallow and deep water. Isn't that interesting? There's not just one kind of sea star. Some people call them starfish, but they're not really a fish, are they? They have no bones. They're an invertebrate. And so they are not a fish. Look at that beautiful sea star. Up close. Most sea stars have 5 arms. Some have 40 arms. If a sea star loses an arm, it can grow a new one. Wow, isn't that cool? They could grow a whole new arm. We can't do that. Sea stars can be many sizes. Some are less than 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters wide. That would be about this big. Not very big at all. Others grow to be more than 3 feet or 1 meter wide. Look how big this one is next to the diver. Wow, that's amazing. Sea stars have tough skin on their thick arms. Short spines protect sea stars from predators. Well, they don't want to get eaten, do they? So they have little spines on their bodies to protect them. Sea stars have hundreds of tiny tube feet. Their feet help them crawl on coral reefs and rocky shores. Their feet grab prey too. So on the bottom of each of their arms, they have these little tube feet. And those are the things that help them move. Now, sometimes in cartoons, we see sea stars that are walking along like this. Like these would be their arms, and this would be their head, and these would be their feet. But that's not how they move. They actually sit on the ocean floor flat like this. And they have tube feet on the bottoms of their bodies that help them move along the ocean floor like this. They're crawling along like that. Finding food. Sea stars open clamshells with their feet. They push their stomachs outside their bodies. They stick their stomachs inside the clamshells, and the sea stars eat their prey. Can you imagine sticking your stomach outside of your body to eat? Wow, that's amazing. So they're opening up the shell so that they can eat the clam inside. We'll take a look at clamshells here in just a minute. We're going to stop there so we can take a look at clamshells. Look at all these clamshells we have over here by Swibby. So, we have a sea star like this. Its mouth is on the bottom of its body, right here in the middle. So it would crawl along on its tube feet like this, and when it finds a clam, it would wrap around it, and its mouth would open and out would come its stomach so it could eat its prey. But let's take a look at what it looks like to have a shell of a clam or another ocean-dwelling, two-shelled creature. So let's take a look at shells that you might find on a beach. So here I'm showing you the shells and how they fit together. So oftentimes we find one shell all by itself, but actually they are two shells that fit together like this, and the creature lives on the inside, right in that inside part where my hand is opening. And the creature can open and close just like that, and normally it would sit on the bottom of the ocean just kind of like this, and it would open its shell in order to get food in and eat. Pretty cool, huh? So when you go to the beach, you might find shells like this. You're only finding half of the shell. You're only finding half of the creature. So the two shells go together like this, but when the creature dies, half of it goes one way and half of it goes another way, and they get washed up on beaches. So you're only seeing half. So each of these shells is only half of the creature that originally lived. Now, you might also find shells that look like this. These would come from a snail. A big snail, but a snail nonetheless. And these shells, when the snail dies, might wash up on a beach too, and other creatures might use them to live in. For instance, a hermit crab might crawl inside one of these shells and use it as a shell to protect itself and use it as a home. So these shells might be the ones you'd find on a beach, but this would be the whole shell from the creature, whereas those other ones would be only half of the shell from the original creature. Well, I think Swimmy had one more thing that he wanted to hear about. Yep, it's time. You wanted to hear about your other friend. Here he is. I know. I know. He's not going to hurt you. This is my friend Sharky. This is Sharky. Sharky has been in our home for a very long time. So he's a very nice shark. He has lots of good manners. And we're going to have Sharky help us learn about real live sharks in this book that he brought along, and so Swimmy doesn't have to be afraid of him anymore. This book is called Just Plain Old Sharks, and it's by Justin McCory Martin. So let's take a look at sharks and see if they're really something we need to be afraid of. Chapter 1 is called Meet the Shark. Look, what is that in the water? Can you guess? It is a shark. Sharks live in oceans all over the world. Turn the page to learn more about these fascinating fish. Did you know that? Yep, sharks are fish. They really are. And it says in the information box, sharks have been on Earth for more than 400 million years. Not that there is a shark in the water that is actually 400 million years old, but there have been sharks around for that long. Can you imagine? That's a long time. Sharks are super swimmers. They move through the water by swinging their strong tails. So just like other fish, they swing their tails back and forth like this. Now that's the opposite way from a dolphin or a whale. Their tails go up and down like this, but fish and sharks go side to side like this. Sharks steer with their pectoral fins. Remember we learned about pectoral fins with our friend yesterday? Yep, they have pectoral fins too. Sharks use their other fins to help them stay balanced. So, on this diagram here, we've got a dorsal fin. Remember, that's the fin on the back. And then they have a second dorsal fin to help them stay up in the water. Here's their tail. We've got some more fins down here on the belly. There's the eye and the snout and a nostril. You have nostrils too in your nose. And they have a mouth. It says sharks open their mouths and let water pass over their gills and out their gill slits. This gives them oxygen to breathe. So just like our friend Silver yesterday, sharks also have gills, but they have gill slits right here in the side of their head. They don't have a gill cover like our friend Silver had. So she could open and close her gill cover like this. But the sharks just have gill slits in the side of their head. Shark skills. Sharks look fierce. Their mouths are filled with lots and lots of sharp teeth. And it says some sharks have 3,000 teeth. We don't have that many teeth. When a shark loses a tooth, a new tooth replaces it quickly. A shark may have a new tooth by the very next day. It says shark teeth wash up on beaches every day. Some people collect them. So these are teeth from a mako shark, a tiger shark, and a hammerhead shark. And you can see them there in the picture. They're different shapes. And that's kind of interesting, isn't it? But the sharks have these interesting features. They actually have teeth that rotate up to replace the ones that fall out. So if they take a bite out of something and they lose a tooth, they don't have to worry about losing all of their teeth and then they wouldn't be able to eat anymore. They just have another tooth that rotates back up to replace it. Isn't that cool? Sharks are agile swimmers. That is because their skeletons are made of flexible cartilage instead of bone. Cartilage helps sharks bend and turn in the water. So yes, sharks are a fish. They do have a skeleton, but their skeleton is not made of the same stuff as ours. It's made of cartilage. You have cartilage in your body too. So if you wiggle your nose, this end of your nose is made of cartilage, or your ear up here. It holds its shape, but it's bendy. And that's the kind of bones that sharks have in their body. They aren't made of bone, they're made of cartilage. And it says in the information box, touch the tip of your nose. It is made of cartilage too. How fast can sharks swim? Some kinds can move at top speeds of 50 miles per hour. That is faster than a squid. That is even faster than a dolphin. So they're showing us on the graph, the shark can move 50 miles per hour, whereas a dolphin can only move 30 and a squid only 20. This is a gray reef shark and it looks like it's moving pretty fast. A shark's skin is covered with tiny, hard scales. If you petted a shark from head to tail, I would not advise this. The skin would feel smooth, but going the other way, it would feel rough. So we can see in the picture, it almost looks like they have little teeth on the sides of their bodies. So if we pet them this way, with these little teeth, it would feel kind of smooth. But if we come this way, it would feel rough to our touch. A shark's skin is made of hard stuff like your teeth. Wow, it's almost like having teeth on the side of their body. Most sharks are incredible hunters. They eat many different sea creatures. A shark that catches a big animal might not need another meal for 2 months. Can you imagine? You ate that much, you don't need to eat again? For 2 months. Wow. This is a shark menu. A shark might eat fish, crabs, lobsters, squid, seals, sea lions, small whales, and seabirds. This happens to be a great white shark, and it's eating some fish in this picture. Chapter 3, Shark Senses. Remember, we have our 5 senses to help us learn about the world, and sharks need their 5 senses too. Let's learn a little bit more about that. Sharks have many powerful senses, but their strongest sense is smell. A shark can smell prey 1 mile away. Wow. That's like if you could smell a cheeseburger from a mile away. That's pretty good. It says sharks use their nostrils to smell. This happens to be a lemon shark. Sharks have great eyesight. They have something like a mirror in the back of their eyes. It makes everything look brighter in the dim underwater light. It says shark eyes are similar to cat eyes. So here's a picture of a shark eye, and there's a cat eye, and they are very similar. Sharks have special senses to help them find food. They are able to sense small vibrations in the water. Vibrations would be like a little wiggle in the water. A shark can tell when fish are flapping far away and swim toward them. Gulp, it's lunchtime. It says sharks have a row of little tubes under their skin for sensing vibrations. And they kind of need that because they need to be able to find food. Once again, they're not eating things because they're mean. They're eating things because they can't exactly go to the shark restaurant and find some fish burgers. They have to catch and eat prey or they'll die. Sharks can sense electricity too. Ocean animals make small amounts of electricity when they move. To locate them, sharks just follow the trail of electricity. Chomp, it's dinner time. It says sharks usually hunt for food by themselves. And so this is a gray reef shark hunting in the school of fish. Chapter 4. Did you know that there are so many kinds of sharks? Look at this. So many sharks. There are more than 400 kinds of sharks in the world. Some sharks are small. This one is the length of a pencil. It's called a pygmy shark, and it's only as long as a pencil. Not very scary. Some sharks are big. This one is the length of a school bus. It only eats teeny ocean creatures called plankton. Wow, remember those little creatures we were looking at yesterday? Here's another picture of one, plankton. This is a close-up, so in reality they'd only be really, really small. This enormous shark that's as big as a bus, it really doesn't want to eat you. It doesn't. It only wants to eat plankton, which are itty-bitty little creatures that live in the water. Wow. It's called a whale shark. Some sharks are named after other animals. The tiger shark is a fierce predator, like a tiger, and here it is. The leopard shark has spots, like a leopard. So it does. Some sharks are named after tools. Take a look at these two. One looks like a hammer, the other looks like a saw. So this is a hammerhead shark, and this is a long-nosed saw shark. Wow, look at them. There is even one kind of shark that can poke its head out of the water and look around. Hello, shark. Goodbye, shark. It says sharks rarely attack people. Each year, only about 20 people in the whole world are hurt by sharks. And really, that's not a whole lot. Let's just take a little bit of a look at the sharks that are actually hurting people. Let's take one look at this book. It's a very long book, so I'm not going to read it. It's called Sharks, and its author is Thea Feldman. We're not going to read the whole book. We're only going to read this book, this part of the book called Chapter 3, The Truth Under Attack. Now, in this picture, it's showing a picture of a sea turtle. If you could see a sea turtle from underneath, this is what it would look like. So if you were a shark in the water and looking up, this is what a sea turtle would look like. And some sharks like to eat sea turtles. It says, despite their reputation as vicious killers, the truth is that most sharks never attack people. In fact, some scientists think sharks do not even like the taste of people. That is why, according to scientists, when a shark does attack a person, it will most often take one bite, then swim off. Scientists also think that a shark's farsightedness makes things blurry up close. And that can, for example, make a person on a surfboard look a lot like a tasty sea turtle until the shark takes the bite. So look at this person right here. This is a person on a surfboard. To a shark, it kind of looks like a sea turtle. So the shark might come up thinking, I'm going to have some sea turtle for lunch. That sounds yummy. And then it tries to take a bite and goes, oh, yuck, person, gross. I didn't want to eat person for lunch. Now we might think, oh, that mean old shark took a bite of the person, but the shark's thinking, looked like a sea turtle to me. So that's why sometimes shark attacks happen. Even though we think, oh, sharks are big and mean and scary, they don't really happen very often. And most of the time it's because they think they're eating a turtle, when in reality, they're not. And it's only because it kind of looks like a turtle. Here's the problem, though. And this is a different book. Again, it's kind of a longer book, and it's called Sharks. And the author's name is Catriona Clark. And this chapter is called Sharks in Danger. It says millions of sharks are killed each year. Some types of sharks are in danger of completely dying out if this doesn't change. Some people like to try to catch big dangerous sharks for sport, meaning that they just try to catch them because it's fun to catch sharks and say, hey, I caught a shark. In many countries, sharks are killed for their fins, which are used to make soup. Oil leaking from ships and other kinds of pollution can poison sharks. So if we put pollution in the water, that can hurt sharks. Sharks also get tangled up in fishing nets and they die because they cannot breathe. This silky shark has been trapped in a net used for catching tuna, which is very sad. So, quite honestly, sharks are being hurt by people when we really don't have any reason to be scared of them all the time. A lot of the time when they do hurt people, it's not on purpose. They're just trying to find some food, right, Sharky? So see, Swimmy? Sharky is really not that scary. He's just trying to find some yummy sea turtle for lunch. Do you like sea turtle, Sharky? Uh-huh. Yeah, I thought so. So, we have to protect our oceans, the jellyfish and the clams and all of the interesting, really cool creatures that live down there. Those fuzzy little sea otters and the manatees and all of those fascinating creatures that live in our oceans. Because our friend Swimmy would really like to live in a very clean ocean where it's nice and clean, no pollution, no garbage, just nice other fish and creatures to live with and have as friends. So, I hope you enjoyed our time together. Did you have fun learning about the ocean, Swimmy? Oh, now it's time to go ride a bicycle? I don't know how that's going to work, friends. Do you think there's such a thing as a bicycle you can ride without legs? Maybe an underwater bicycle. How about a motorboat, Swimmy? Maybe we can go canoeing. That's all the time we have for today. Have fun playing in the ocean. Bye!